Off we go. Hyper random. Game number 1 in this best of 5 between Jordan and Lucho in Hamsters Vs Clowns. And we'll kick things off over here on the bottom left-hand corner with Lucho in the blue playing as the Koreans. Now he's up against Jordan on the opposite side of the map, the right-hand side, in the red playing as the Malay. Somewhat interesting Civ matchup here. The Malay themselves, obviously one of their biggest features is going to be this right here. Advancing to the next stage is 66% faster than any other civilization. So the timings for the Malay are really where they're going to find a lot of their power. Getting to the next stage a little bit quicker. So either beating your opponent to specific military timings and upgrades, and then having a tremendous amount of impact following that, or maybe just having a better economy by virtue of, adding 2 extra villagers before clicking up, but still making it to the next stage at the same time. You see Lucho now bringing in 2 boars simultaneously, just getting that food economy working here early. Let's look at the map, because hyper random, that's going to be kind of the more important thing. And unfortunately for Jordan, his archer has run into the wildlife, and he's going to lose out on his archer and therefore that scouting unit very early on into the game. Now, did Lucho also lose his archer? We're scouting with sheeps and everything, which is good. I don't see an archer on the field here for Lucho, so I wonder if he as well had one and lost it to some wildlife early on in the game. Regardless, both players are pretty far apart, even though they're both on the southern part of the map here. They're pretty far apart and they're pretty safe. Jordan's got an incredible base set up. Just wall right here. Between these 2 wood lines, you protect a gold, you have a back stone, you've got multiple back wood lines. Very, very safe. Looks like if there's a hole, this might be a hole right here, but one little house closes that off, and then you wall across the front of your base like this. Jordan's setup is phenomenal. On the flip side, I'd say it's a slightly tougher base setup here for Lucho. Still has a decent wood line, but he's got forward gold, forward stone, and not quite as much safety, so walling's going to be a little bit more difficult. Maybe you just go for a short wall and kind of cut straight to your TC. You do at least have this 2-tile gold in the back that you can work with. Plenty of wildlife on the map, and we've seen both players bring in multiple boars already. Decent number of sheeps as well, and maybe Jordan now thinking about coming out for the chickens. In terms of what we're going to see when we see each player get to the feudal age, that's a good question. Neither of these civilizations is really that eager to go into a scout build or anything like that. So I would expect to either see a situation where they attempt a fast castle, and Jordan maybe the more likely of the 2 to attempt that given his base setup, or we're just going to go feudal into some archer pressure, something like that, look for some map control. But the scouting has been pretty solid for both players, continuing to use those sheep for such. And now we have Lucho coming out here onto gold. 16 pop, so maybe even thinking about like a man-at-arms or something like that. Have to keep track of whether or not the barracks comes down. Jordan going out here for 1 more boar. But I do like that he's been willing to drop the mill out here, hop on the chickens, particularly when there isn't a scout on the map. Needs to make sure not to lose a villager, though. Okay. Good work. Second lumber camp for Lucho. He's on the way to the feudal age. Again, he's the Koreans, so it makes sense that he'll click up before Jordan does. I would expect maybe after these 2 villagers here, so like a 20 pop up for Jordan. An unexpected error. Oh, no! What happened? Disaster. Well, hold on, friends. Let me see if I can... That's concerning. Okay. Back into it we go. by the way. Here's his archer. So we can actually... We were asking this question earlier. We were wondering what happened to it. My guess is it gets killed by the wildlife. Yep. Bear manages to kill the bear, then runs into these snow leopards and ends up dying. Both are. Actually, that's funny. Jordan actually got the snipe. I didn't even realize it, but then he loses his own. Okay. So good to catch up on that. Hopefully we don't have any more technical issues here with the game closing behind us. Racing through these early portions to catch back up. Waiting to see that feudal age click over here at 18 pop there for Lucho. Jordan bringing in his second boar. Wow, actually queuing up even more villagers. So it turns out Jordan might be looking at a fast castle play here. It's got to be at this point now, dropping farms. He does see feudal age now come in for Lucho. Lucho going straight into that archery range, kind of like we expected with villagers on gold. So Jordan... We talked about how easy the base is to wall, but you got to make sure to wall it before you start getting hit by forward archer pressure. Minute to go until feudal age. He is making use of that melee bonus and now is going to bring villagers back, realizing they'll soon be under threat here out in the open. Spearman coming forward to scout, but unfortunately, due to the amount of wildlife here, that Spearman's going to end up going down. Or at least he's going to be on quite the run. Finding that hill, perhaps. Needs to be careful not to run into this bear. Now the big walls are coming up for Jordan. Walling straight to this gold. Is aware of that hole right there. And does get this wall up here on the right-hand side. So very, very safe base layout here for Jordan as he hits the feudal age. Goes for loom. Even a little bit greedy there to go for loom following the feudal age. That feels bad. Having to make a mill for a single berry bush is not the best feeling in the world, but you need a mill regardless to start getting those farms out. So Lucho taking a very tempered approach. While he did get quickly to the feudal age, those first couple archers are just now coming forward. And they're going to be running straight into walls here. Jordan does need to make sure to get this wall up. And he will manage to do so before Lucho gets forward. So at this point, I wonder what the approach will be here for Lucho. Just transition into full economy. He's already got horse collar. He's got double bit axe. I'm sure he probably recognized, just based on the timings, that Jordan was going to be going for not necessarily a fast castle. It ends up being a feudal eco kind of approach. He does have that archery range up. He is making a few skirmishers, but largely he'll do the same thing. Double bit axe, horse collar, just going to get that economy rolling. Both players going to be looking towards the castle age. These are very aggressive walls here by Lucho, but I don't hate it because otherwise his base layout feels a lot worse, right? He's guaranteeing himself a ton of resources in this bottom right-hand corner as long as he can wall this off and bring it all the way to the TC. Spearman coming forward here by Jordan, looking for a little bit of information. The archers are forward, harassing over the walls. There is a hole still here. Not really going to get punished for it. Jordan replaces the house. It's all about the economies right now, and Jordan does have that 2-villager lead. This is very expected. That's what you get for going up to the castle or to the next stage faster, right? By virtue of spending less time researching the next stage, you have more time to actually produce villagers. So, with only a couple seconds of idle time on both players' TCs, makes sense that Jordan has just built the tiniest, the ever so smallest margin of a lead when it comes to the economies. What is this villager thinking about doing? Blacksmith. Second building to go up to the castle age. More farms getting dropped. On the flip side, farm count is now up to 10. Skirmishers of his own to push the spearmen back. Honestly, a very cautious beginning to this series between the two of them. Blacksmith now on the other side, completing some of these walls here, bringing it straight to the town center. No market for either player. So they're not necessarily racing to the castle age, right? Like if you really wanted to beat your opponent to the castle age, you maybe drop a market, sell that stone. Jordan is sitting on 300 wood, dropping a few more farms now. That's the big ticket. Get yourself up to those, 15 to 18 farm counts, somewhere in that range. Both players now at 15 farms. Wow, they are locked in with each other, step for step right now. Love the wheelbarrow tech, though, and wouldn't be surprised if when that wheelbarrow tech is complete, we've just about got the resources to click up to the castle age. Jordan expected to be the first to get there. Food count looking a bit better for Lucho, and he will maybe ultimately click first, but he'll be clicking without wheelbarrow, and he'll be clicking with a shorter research time, or with a longer research time, I should say. There's the click to the castle age, 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Jordan needing 100 more food. Maybe go for the garrison off of the wheelbarrow here. Or does he queue up one more villager? I would expect him the force drop. There it is, and the click. And just like that, Jordan still makes it to the next stage faster. He's now one villager down, but plus wheelbarrow. So net, I would say, Jordan's still ahead economically. But what is the military approach once we make it to the castle age? Both bringing in gold mining now, so matching those eco upgrades outside of wheelbarrow, like for like. Stone walls on top of everything here for Jordan. So ultra conservative, ultra safe. With fletching now on the way here for Lucho. Oh, baby. How about that? Forward villager, sneak stable. Now, what will it really accomplish? I mean, at the end of the day, you'll surprise your opponent with elephants arriving just a little bit earlier. Siege workshop, too. So it's going to be elephants and siege? Wow. Jordan's going all in. I love it. I love the aggression. A tower? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Honestly, a fascinating approach here by Jordan. I would not have even expected this tower. He's not seen really that much pressure. He's only seen a couple skirmishers, a couple archers, and even still he feels the need to drop a tower to protect this gold and the front side of his base. It's double TC drops here for Lucho. I think he's in for a rude awakening. Has no idea the pressure that's about to come. So the question becomes, when does Jordan pull the trigger? Third battle elephant already created, but he did go for a scorpion. Oh, he had a scorpion queued. He canceled it. But now Lucho's gonna find it. Lucho's gonna discover it. Oh my goodness, what heads up play. He just has an inkling. Jordan beat me to the next stage. His score's a little bit higher than mine. Why is that? But the thing is, I mean, Lucho's invested a ton of resources into TCs and upgrades. But the fact that he's got the awareness and can get this siege workshop up in time is absolutely massive. Jordan gets the house wall down. It means the villager won't end up dying. Mangonel just about to complete. Husbandry, more battle elephants on the way. He's got the first armor upgrade, which is the maximum amount of armor that these Malay elephants can work with. And here come the Ellies and the Mangonel. Let's see what he can get done. It's going to be full 1 TC castle age pressure here from Jordan. First Vil snipe of the game. Gets it with the Mangonel. Now a couple archers will go down. I mean, let's be real here, y'all. Lucho does not have an answer to the elephants. He has an answer to the Mangonel with the rocket cart. And if he gets this first Mangonel snipe, that could be huge, but he targets the elephants instead. And that gives Jordan the knowledge. I'm not sure Jordan knew that this siege workshop was up until just that moment. Good target fired there, but the villager comes over just in time with the repair. The elephants are thinking about just diving in. I don't hate it. The longer you wait, the more we're going to have in defense. We've already got a guard tower up. Korean's going to benefit a ton from that free tower upgrade in the defense against the Mangonels. Very, very, I mean, how often is guard tower just kind of the traditional defense anyway against Mangonels if you're not going to use Mangonels of your own? Jordan just going to attack what's in front of him, which I don't hate either. right? But first monk on the field, threatening a conversion. Jordan gonna get the delete. But now we just retarget. More elephants coming in. A second monk on the way over. Some skirmishers go down to the mangonel fire. I mean, those rocket carts are on the run. Jordan now gets to turn his attention onto this siege workshop. If he can manage to take the siege workshop down, I think that might just be it. That might be game right there. Still plenty of elephants in the queue. 2 at a time. 8 elephants on the field, still producing villagers as well. Small villager lead here for Lucho, but about to lose the entire front of his base. Blacksmith, siege workshop. Don't kill your own elephant here. Now we got a monastery of our own coming up. Another guard tower. Lucho definitely feeling the pressure in this moment, but he still has 3 TCs working away. He's getting more farms placed. There goes the blacksmith, though. That's a great kill. 150 wood investment, no option to get armor for your fire lancers as of right now. I'm gonna need to place a new blacksmith. Houses, less relevant, unfortunately, here for Jordan. I mean, rather hit something than nothing. I also love seeing the outposts. I think that's one thing that pro players over the last few years have gotten just so much better about. It's such a simple thing, but it has so much value. You know, the knowledge of what your opponent's doing and not being surprised. So it's cool to see more and more players going for the outpost to support their pushes. Elephants now thinking about diving in once again underneath the town center. Just forcing a bunch of idle time for now. Probably not going to find any kills. Fire Lancers coming over to respond. I mean, this is a fight that overall the elephants would win straight up. But efficiency-wise, probably not one you want to take. We did lose that mangonel over here on the left-hand side during that engagement. And an elephant gets converted. Uh-oh, monk coming forward, dying. Jordan probably back at home, dealing with something economically there. And this is where you can kind of see how difficult the 1 TC pressure is going to be here for Jordan at this point, and maybe he's already giving up on it, it looks like. He's down 16 villagers. Trying to push into guard towers, ill-advised, and oh, okay, no. He's not giving up on the push, he's doubling down on the push. He realizes how far behind he is and how much damage he needs to get done. He's coming forward for a castle. On the face of Lucho here. Counter castle on the other side. Whose castle is going up? Whose castle is going down? That's the big question. I think these elephants just need to engage, to be honest. Because if the castle goes up here for Lucho, I think Lucho wins the game. Conversion on the other side means 1 elephant returns to Jordan's possession, but both castles I think are going up in the end. Maybe a couple villagers go down, but you've got 20 villagers to give here if you're Lucho, and the resources are already looking good for both players to make it up to the Imperial Age. Jordan trying to desperately sell some stuff off. Needs to sell about 100 food, get up to that 800 gold mark. That way he can click to the Imperial Age, but even clicking to the Imperial Age at this point, pretty tough spot here for Jordan to be in. He does get the click, and he is the melee. So 1 minute and 50 seconds to the Imperial Age. He's going to be there about 1 minute and 30 seconds before his opponent. I just don't think it's going to be enough. You're going to hit the Imperial Age. You're already getting your castle petarded down, which means that in the end, you might not have a castle upon reaching the Imperial Age, and I don't think you can defend properly here because your villagers should be able to get hit. Yeah, villagers going down now. He's got a garrison. He did go for that repair because he doesn't want the castle to just be petarded down straight up. But more petards in the queue. I think in the end, this is over. I think Jordan's going to be giving this one up. He's going for crossbow and fletching of his own. He's going to try his best to micro the repairs here. He wants to get to the Imperial Age. He wants to get a Trub or 2 out onto the field. But now a ram's coming forward. All of this is going to happen under the safety of Lucho's castle. Elephants eject to take down that ram. So it's a bit of a some lost resources there for Lucho. Elephants can just re-garrison. He's doing an okay job keeping this castle alive. But another ram's coming forward. More petards coming out. Imperial Age is in. Treb is in the queue. He can at least get one Treb onto the field, but I feel like he still has to abandon this position, and he's got to bring the Treb like back to this hill or something like that. If he had enough stone for a second castle position, I would still have faith in Jordan's ability here. I just think, unfortunately for him, I think this castle's going down regardless of the fact that you beat him to the Imperial Age. Castle now at 1,300 health. We still have 2 petards to put to use. This is gonna be close though, actually. 2 petards is not enough to take this castle down. 3rd petard about to finish. I think he needs 3 or 4 petards total to kill this castle. But if his castle goes down before the 4th one is made, no, he'll get it out. He'll get it out. Lucho is barely going to get this out. He sends the boys and the girls, the villagers and the petards. The castle goes down here for Jordan, and now the repairs are coming through here for Lucho. He's trying desperately to produce a trebuchet of his own. And I think he might even be able to save this castle. You're not going to be able to take that trebuchet, though, I don't think, with the presence of the crossbows and the elephants here. So it's a lot of stone that's about to be sunk into the repairs of this castle. I mean, Jordan's managing to make this a game. I'm a bit surprised. He's definitely on the back foot. He's definitely, you know, fighting uphill in this one. Trebuchet now out for Lucho, so he's going to try to use that to take down Jordan. Did Jordan just buy that castle? He did. My goodness, that's an expensive castle right now. There, but as we mentioned, I think Jordan recognizes that this is his only winning opportunity here, is to hold this position, not just hold this position, but improve this position, right? He needs to take this castle down, and he needs to start pushing into Lucho's base. Lucho, happy as ever to sit on 3 TCs, let that economy continue to expand, and slowly build into some of the later game powerhouse units that the Koreans have, like the War Wagon itself. Fighting into skirmishers and crossbows, though, right now, with skirmishers of his own. Now the elephants are going to come forward to deal with the rocket carts. Rocket carts, though, they did their job. They got the trebuchet down. The only thing they really needed to do, right, is buy enough time. And I think Jordan will soon realize that as these trebuchets come forward and attack his own castle position, score is going to start getting worse for him. Game 1, I liked the idea, just the scouting. The fact that Lucho sent those archers over this direction, saw the siege workshop, got his up in time, started getting towers down, guard towers in response. It was a great adjustment, great heads-up play by Lucho, good scouting. If you don't have that information, maybe that first hits a lot harder. Jordan did also, at some point, he queued a Scorpion first and then canceled that Scorpion partway through production. I think one of two things. Either you commit to that, even though it's still a less powerful siege unit, or you just have to go for the Mangonel first. There's definitely an argument that he should have gone Mangonel first, and well, not definitely, I mean, for sure, he should have gone Mangonel first. He himself realized that, you know, after the fact, and swapped to a Mangonel. Maybe if that Mangonel comes out on the timing the Scorpion would have come out, then Lucho gets surprised way more, doesn't have his siege workshop up in time, and it's a totally different story. But I think now we're in for a pretty immediate and direct push back here by Lucho, right? I mean, he's just fortifying the position even more with keeps. Jordan does have 2 trebuchets now on the field. But even still, he's going to be kind of perma-repairing, I think, on his castle position. Unless he gets some really lucky trebuchet snipes here to kind of turn the momentum and the tide. Lucho looks unshakable at this point. Jordan doing his best to you know, target fire, change the direction of fire. His trebuchets are under fire by the keeps. More damage coming through. This castle is taken now 10,000 damage. Lots of repairs. Elephants gonna defend the Trebs. The whole game relies on this moment. If one player is broken one way or the other. I mean, the good news for Lucho is he actually has a second castle, so layered defense here, whereas Jordan not so much. So a much more important moment here for Jordan, as he's also now apparently Going to try and out-repair a bombard cannon. Simply, well, I say that. He doesn't need to out-repair it if he snipes it. What a snipe, dude. Keeps his trebuchets alive. More towers now by Lucho. That feels like a bit much. I think Lucho really just needs to focus on the trebuchets of his opponent. He's got those bombard cannons working away, tucked between the two towers right now. We haven't had to move our screen in 2 minutes here. Oh, another bombard cannon gets sniped by Jordan. These trebuchets are locked in, man. Now one of his keeps is about to go down. Wouldn't actually mind seeing these keeps target the villagers. Everything over here is in range right now, but these keeps are actually targeting like the trebuchets as opposed to the villagers, and they're really not doing that much damage. More keeps now coming up for Lucho. Another bombard cannon forward, working away on the trebuchets. Jordan with 100 stone in the bank. Soon not to have enough to repair anymore. He's doing his best to keep mining with these villagers back here. I mean, 4 trebuchets on the field. You get the sense that if enough shots hit for either player in any direction here, you could completely flip this game on its head. Momentum still, I think, working in favor of Lucho overall. None of these trebs have gone down. I'm impressed by both players' ability to keep these trebs alive. Jordan does ultimately give the GG, though. I think he just realizes that from a resource perspective, he doesn't have it, right? He's running out of the stone. Ultimately, his castle is going to go down in the next volley of shots. We've got those bombard cannons that are threatening his own trebuchets, and he just doesn't have the position to eat through these keeps. So Lucho, I mean, just what a stoic defense there by Lucho. Love the heads-up play by Jordan. I love the attempt on the aggression with the timing to castle age. Unfortunately, gets spotted out by those archers, and then just doesn't. I don't think he puts his foot enough on the gas there and recognized in that moment that he needed to aggress. Maybe, too, there was a point to be made to just sending the elephants in when he was in here, when he came in the first place. He sort of went underneath the town center, but that was after a number of monks came out. We had multiple fire lancers out, things like that. If he had maybe just sent the elephants in right out the gate, straight to the wood lines and things like that, would have been a slightly messier game. But great defense out of Lucho. 1-0 now is the score line between the two of them. And we can go ahead and hop immediately into our second game. All right, game number 2. And we are on Zawal, one of the most unique and interesting maps in all of Age of Empires 2 because of the fact that it is split down the middle with this Gaia-controlled stone wall. So there is no way for these two players to get to the other person's half of the map until they destroy a section of this wall in the middle. That means you have an exceptionally safe Dark Age and arguably an exceptionally safe Feudal Age. Although we have seen a few players, throughout the history of this map, go for something like a tower rush. You come forward, batter through the walls, and then you start tower rushing your opponent. But the timing's got to be perfect for that. It's a really difficult thing to execute because your opponent will have the warning of it as you try to break through that center wall. Either way, both players gonna make their way here through the Dark Age, get a sense of what their maps look like, so we can have a moment to talk about the civilizations. And I don't think it'll surprise anybody that you see a couple late game powerhouse civs being picked for a map that is expected to develop in a slower fashion. So you got Lucho over here in the blue playing as the Spanish. They have a lot of late game options. The only thing they're not really good at is, of course, archer play. But for a ranged unit, they can build out of their castle. The Conquistador, a highly mobile gunpowder unit, one of the best in the game, as well as, of course, an incredible cavalry line as well. So whether or not that's going to be, the light cav line and hussar or paladins, they've got options there. Then, of course, on the flip side, you've got the Burgundians who will make use of early eco bonuses. How Kismet, that as we talk about it, Jordan is already going to click that double bit axe. Burgundians get access to all eco upgrades 1 age sooner. So this is a feudal age upgrade that he is getting in the Dark Age. And the reason why Burgundians love to be played on a map like this is you can't be punished for the fact, necessarily, that you're spending early resources for eco advantages. Because this is going to slow you down in your development in the short term and aid you in the long term, right? By spending wood and food on that upgrade now, I'm not going to get to the feudal age as quickly as my opponent. But I will benefit from the increased resources at a certain point. So by virtue of having the safety of this Gaia-controlled wall, Jordan has all the permission in the world to go for something like double bit axe. We're going to see him get a really early horse collar as well, and just get a rockin' economy going, maybe expand to 3 TCs, and then overwhelm with an economic advantage later in the game. Now, the Burgundians, they also have exceptionally strong gunpowder units in their hand cannoneers, different than the Conks because less mobile. But then, of course, also have very good cav units as well for the Burgundians, with certain things being available in age sooner as well, like Cavalier in the Castle age. So a lot of questions for how Jordan might ultimately approach things. I would be surprised if Lucho did anything other than a fast castle into Conks. Really, then the question just becomes, where does that castle placement go, right? Ideally, you'd want it maybe somewhere right out here, protecting 2 golds and a stone in the front of your base. Maybe even more aggressively along the walls so that you can control the walls and batter through, and then look to harass with those conquistadors. Time will tell. Time will tell. Horse collar now in for Jordan, as we expected. No farms being dropped just yet, but making sure he gets that before he forgets, I'm sure. 18 vills, 3 in the queue. 18 vills, 1 in the queue. But expecting a fast castle, I'd say 22, 23, 24 pop usually. Probably 23 with these guys. Farms being dropped now for Lucho. Signals that he's not too far away from clicking up. What a beautiful mining camp. Look at how pretty that mining camp is going to be right there. Oh, that just feels so good, guys. Oh my God, it's music to my eyeballs. How do you not love that? The most efficient mining camp on the face of the earth right there. Oh, that's clean. The God mining camp, for real, for real. All right, Jordan as well going out to gold for himself. Going up to 23 villagers. Okay, so actually even, you know what? I guess it kind of makes sense. I would have expected a 23 pop, maybe a 24 pop click. Kind of like what Jordan's doing. Funnily enough, the Burgundians player is actually the one who's going up first after spending the resources on the eco upgrades. And Lucho will go just after. So it's 24 pop and 25 pop. I was thinking 23, 24 pop. But because you have these walls, it doesn't hurt, right? You don't mind going to the castle age a little bit slower. But having just that much better of an economy to help support villager production and maybe the expansion of your economy with TCs and things like that. I think the question for Lucho is obviously, do you go castle first and then 2 town centers, or do you go 2 town centers first followed by castle? With 3 villagers on stone, I don't think you're gonna be going for town centers first. I think you're gonna go for castle first. But I'm ready to be proven wrong. Opposite side for Jordan. With no villagers on stone, I think the expectation is just a full boom. Grab relics and boom it up. Of course, now we're sending 3 villagers forward. No, just for the market and the blacksmith. Okay, so he's just effectively dropping a second layer of walls in case that castle comes, right? If the castle comes here for Lucho, he breaks through the walls, and now you've got conks threatening your base. Jordan's just setting up a preemptive secondary wall here, a second layer of defense. But off to the castle age he'll go after these 2 buildings complete. Same thing over here for Lucho. Can finish walling off to the wood line here, and then of course wall off to the wood line over here. So both players should be relatively safe in their secondary wall positions. Moving another villager over to stone here is Lucho. So as soon as he clicks, Wouldn't even be surprised if we go up to 5 or 6 on stone, looking for that 650 upon reaching the castle age. Jordan, on the other hand, still no villagers going to stone. So I think it'll just be 2 TC, by the way. Did he sell stone? Or do you only start with 100 on Zawal? I actually don't know what your... Tip for those of you who might be new to Age of Empires, typical starting stone in Age of Empires is 200. There are some maps, though, that can have differing starting resources based on the scripting, and I'm actually not aware if whether or not Zawal starts you with 100 or if he sold 100 in his efforts to get up to the castle age. It's probably likely that he sold 100, particularly after investing resources into other eco upgrades. Bowsaw, though, already complete now for the Burgundian player, which is massive upon clicking up to the castle age. His opponent doesn't even have that available to him just yet. And so, while it's impressive that Lucho has kept the res collected close, keep your eye on this number right here. All right, so res collected, it's just an ever so slight lead here for Jordan. But over time, you're going to see that lead grow and grow and grow. Or at least that's what we would expect to see. That is the expectation in this matchup. Castle Age about to complete. Bonjour. Where are the town centers going? There's no town centers. We're just going double monastery. I mean, double monasteries make sense as the response to the conquistadors. Okay, and we are getting the castle position that we expected here from Lucho. A little bit forward, protecting all these golds, and a monastery behind. I was not expecting double monastery. I was expecting... There's a town center. Okay, I was going to say I was expecting at least one town center and a monastery. Obviously, we want the monastery not just to pick up the relics, but also to defend against conquistadors. One of the better defensive units against conquistadors is monks, threatening the conversion. It's an expensive unit, the conch, with a lot of power, but therefore losing a conch to a conversion is pretty detrimental. Castle's going to start firing away, though, on the wall, so soon enough, Lucho will break through. I think it's important that Jordan finishes his walls. We started the walls over here, but this is all for naught if 3 conchs go running around the outside here and just murder all of our gold villagers. Okay, so Jordan is going to go for the walls. I probably would have connected it to the monastery. So same idea. I just would have done a straight line from monastery to edge. But first 2 relics on the way home. First relic on the way home over here. Went for the missionary even, did Lucho first. So missionaries are just monks, but on donkeys. They move faster, which is nice and all. But they are then created out of the castle as opposed to the monastery itself. Conchs looking to harass, forced to retreat in the face of some threatened conversions. This is a game that has the potential, well, one of two, it has the potential to end like instantaneously, as weird as that sounds, because both players have a very defensive setup right now. But a single engagement could decide this. If all 3 of these conchs get converted, or all 3 of these monks get killed without any conversions, like that could just simply be game over, one way or the other. Here come the conversion attempts. Had that first volley of shots go off. Monk lost a little health, didn't lose his life. No conchs ended up being converted. Now some damage onto the scout. 5 monks on the field here. How is the micro for Jordan? That's the big question. Great targeting. Honestly, this is impressive monk micro. You can tell each arrow means that a different monk is targeting a different conquistador. No damage found just yet. And this is big. The longer the game goes with no damage found, the better it is for Jordan. Not just because Jordan has better upgrades, right? Or actually, I guess the same upgrades, now about to be better with a wheelbarrow. But also because the villager count is going to ever so slightly rise in his favor. He did get that second town center down, so it's 1 town center to 2. So for every villager created on Lucho's side, 2 villagers are created on Jordan's side. Puts the onus on Lucho to find some damage with these conchs, and he hasn't found that damage just yet. And he hasn't really denied anything from Jordan either, right? Didn't deny any of the relics that were on Jordan's side. So both players now have 3 relics to their name. That's a wash. Jordan with more conversions. Hoping for them. Good dodging by both players. Good micro by both players. Now up to 8 monks is Jordan. Conk's taking shots, not finding damage. Bear trying to get involved as well. I think I'd be very, very nervous if I was in Lucho's position. And remember when I told y'all guys to pay attention to this res collected? At one point, it was just about 100 in the differential. Now it's up to 600, 700 even. Soon to be in the thousands. It's only going to get better and better and better here for Jordan, as we still don't see another town center being dropped back here for Lucho. In fact, a third monastery being dropped for Lucho. So more aggression. University now for Jordan. Is Jordan even thinking about Imperial Age at this point? I mean, that's second building there. You don't have any archers, so there's really no reason for you to have the university at this point other than to go up to the Imperial Age. But he could simply just look to go to Imp and then go for like bombard cannons or something like that. Yep, dropping those farms, expanding the economy. I like the 2 TC approach here by Jordan a lot. I also think it's wise to not go for more. I think it would also be very easy to be like, hey, I'm holding off the pressure. Maybe let me think about adding yet another town center or 2 and just go full boom, kind of the way that Burgundians a lot of times want to. But perhaps the recognition is that if my opponent invested in the castle, invested in conks and all these missionaries, he wants to get something done. So I need to not over-invest in economy and prepare myself for the onslaught that might be on its way. Jordan was just bringing villagers forward to think about a castle placement. So it's slightly unfortunate timing here that for him that Lucho now has enough of a presence to move forward. Got to be careful here. Monks now looking for more conversions. No conversions will be found. Oh! Monks against monks. Monks against missionaries. The conversions are going both ways. Who's going to win? Atonement for both players. But now it's really just about the micro. We've got the scout as well, trying to find the damage. Healing coming through from Lucho. I think this is working out better for Jordan, though, in the end, no? Do these have juice? Do the missionaries have juice? We got a conch. We got a couple missionaries. Most of our monks live here. Honestly, maybe it's just a wash. But a wash is good for Jordan, right? As we talked about earlier. Jordan's happy with even trades because even trades with better economy behind it means he can replenish better. So Jordan should feel ultra comfortable in this position. Now he's going for a castle. It's a defensive castle setup. And it does look like he'll get it up because there's only the 5 conquistadors that could really threaten it. And with all those monks there, it's hard to keep track of who's actually winning in these monk micro trades. I do think Jordan's going to lose a few monks here, unfortunately, to the missionaries. He did lose a few, but now they're being traded right back. Castle goes up here. Got to sell 200 food. Doesn't quite have the gold there. He sells the 200 food that he needs, gets the click up to the Imperial Age. I think both players on the way to the Imperial Age, but a 20 villager advantage here for Jordan. I would say it's his game to lose, right? Like, he is fully in the driver's seat in this one. Just has to approach it smartly. Coming forward for a mining camp, he's going to see this battering ram here pretty soon, and doing all this in the face of conquistadors, which might get a couple villager snipes. He's got to be very careful here. That's maybe the one argument, is that obviously the map control and the position is Lucho's. He owns, God, maybe 80%, 75% of the map. And Jordan has a lot less to work with. But even dropping a second castle now is Jordan to solidify the position. Loses a couple monks in the trade. Trades back for a few missionaries. Honestly, again, hard to tell if either player came out advantageously in that monk conversion trade there. But the castle is up, which means that Lucho's not really going to be able to push any further forward into the position. I like this as well. Secondary market. 1, just because you're about to lose your market, but 2, because you never know. Lucho might decide to try and run these conks in, make a mess of your eco in the back. Got some idle villagers, retasking them onto stone. But Imperial Age is 30 seconds away for both players, so it just comes down to army compositions at that point. I don't see any military buildings yet for Jordan. That's the big issue, is that he's going to be working with monks and like Coustelier. But we don't even have a barracks. So what are we trying to make? Imperial Age for both players is in. Trebuchet on the way here. No trebuchets on the other side just yet. No siege workshop just yet. Barracks is now coming up for Jordan. Jordan might just be too slow here. But the eco is so much better. 4 monasteries for Lucho. 4 monasteries? That's crazy. That's crazy. Plenty of monks for Jordan. 13 under his control. Is the micro there? That's the big question. Sometimes more monks is worse, to be honest. Oh no! Oh no! The pathing! Get in the castle! Okay. Woo! Got away with that one. Pathing was scary there for a moment for Jordan. Trebuchet on the field for both players. Light Cav on the way for Jordan. I like keeping these hidden as well, going up to 3 stables. I think this is Jordan's game 100%. Jordan's game 100% to take. And there's no response to the Light Cav on the other side. If you just take a look at the queue, right? There's nothing in the queue militarily for Lucho, but that's because he's largely resource strapped. At this point, he would need to go into spears and pikes or something like that. He has 1 barracks to his name, and he's not going for any of those upgrades. He hasn't yet seen the techs that Jordan's going for. But I think at the very least, you should be expecting some amount of military to be made. So whether or not you're just producing more conquistadors or something like that, military needs to be produced at this point here for Lucho. Now, hard to say who's coming out on top of this one. It looks like maybe it's slightly better here for Lucho in the overall conversions, and this could be disastrous for Jordan if he's not paying attention in the micro. More monks are getting traded over to Lucho, and at a certain point, if you give Lucho 20+ monks, he's going to convert your entire military. Jordan just lost a whole heck ton of them, and even now has to retreat from the position. Now, the Light Cav might be enough. Some knights as well. Here come the Light Cav running forward. He doesn't have the numbers yet. Oh no, but did Lucho see it? I think Lucho saw the Light Cav. He needs to back up. You got to be careful. Light Cav coming forward. Monks coming forward. Big trade in the middle. This could be the game right here. Do the Light Cav have the damage? As long as they target focus, I mean, they are the anti-monk counter. But a whole bunch of conversions as well for Jordan. Now Jordan's monks are going to go down. Did Jordan jump the gun just a little bit too much? It's like he moved out just a tiny bit too early. He let a bunch of his monks get converted. However, that was a really good trade there. Yes, he lost some Light Cav, but he traded most of the missionaries away. Reminder, he still has a 40+ villager advantage. So as long as he's not getting pushed by Lucho, he can toss some units away. Right? End of the day, he's not that mad about even taking inefficient trades as long as he's not losing ground or losing his economy. And that's what's happening. Right? So far, so good here for Jordan. Second armor upgrade now coming in for the Light Cav. He's also got ballistics on the way as he starts to drop some archery ranges. Whether or not those are going to be skirmishers or hand cannoneers, either or will be a solid addition. Just going for the full army makeup, the full army composition at this point. But Lucho is completely stuck, right? He just doesn't have the resources to really make any kind of a tech switch. So he's playing against Light Cav with missionaries and monks. It's just not going to feel good in his position. He does have 5 trebuchets, which is a heck ton of trebuchets. Jordan also has 5 and doesn't feel like he's got permission to roll forward and actually take the fight. He just needs to build up those military numbers yet again. 42 on food. Just completely out of space for farms, actually. You would love to see that number be more like 50, 60, 70 even when it comes to the food counts. And take down that outpost with 5 trebuchets. Some would call that overkill. No! They trebuchet a horse. And then a new Light Cav came to take his spot. All right. I mean, Jordan's happy with this. I know Lucho right now. Oh, Now he's going to start dealing with raids. Yeah, this is about to get real bad for Lucho. The economy is already terrible. You can just take a look at it. He's only got a total of 16 farms on the field compared to the 45 on food here for Jordan. But the moment you have to start chasing your opponent around your base when you're the guy with the worst economy and the one who needs to be aggressive, it's just not going to go well for you at all. Hussar now on the field. Trebuchets rotating around here for Jordan to find the ideal position by which they can target this castle. I mean, this castle is going to get like 2 volleyed from 7 trebuchets. Jordan, I think, is being overly cautious, if I'm being entirely honest here. But hey, get it done. He's leaving nothing to chance in this one. Now finally feels like he's got the military to support the push. He's got the skirmishers here as well in defense. He's got some hussars too, so he's just out-teching entirely. Trebuchets are firing away. That's volley number 1, and the castle is down to half health. Volley number 2, and the castle will fall. The attempt is there for the repairs, but that castle is not long for this world. Castle is already hitting the dirt. The hussars are diving in, looking to eliminate the trebuchets of Lucho. Lucho putting up his last-ditch effort of a defense, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. He went for a more aggressive play. Jordan just played a cool, calm, and collected. Not enough aggression out of Lucho. Things are all tied up at 1-1. I think from a civilization standpoint, both civs definitely had options. I think Lucho just needed to go much harder on the initial push, right? Needed 4 rams and to just immediately try and dive into the base, or the opposite, right? Either you drop that castle, immediately recognize that your opponent is also in an ultra defensive position, and instead just drop 2 TCs of your own. It's not like the Spanish can't compete against the Burgundians in the late game. I would still probably give the edge to the Burgundians, having maybe a slightly better tech tree and stuff like that. But regardless, Spanish are still a late game powerhouse. I think you just needed to recognize one of 2 things. He played kind of a middle ground. He either needed to go more aggressive or match the, the economic approach by Jordan there. 1-1. Off to game number 3, we will go the classic Age of Empires 2 map. Lucho versus Jordan. It's 1-1 in the series scoreline in this best of 5 here of Hamsters versus Clown. And away we go on to Arabia. It's going to be Lucho in the blue playing as the Wei. He's up against Jordan in the red playing as the Chinese. You saw that immediate loom come in, and that's because the Chinese start with a whole bunch of extra villagers. So villager advantage for them. However, they start with 0 food in the bank. So you go straight for that loom while also putting all your villagers onto sheep. And then you get the villager production rolling. But you can already see Jordan has a villager advantage alongside loom already in. He'll look to keep that villager advantage rolling forward against the Wei. Now, I say that the Wei are not without their own economic advantages. As you can see here, they receive 1 free villager for each economic upgrade researched. That obviously won't come into effect until the feudal age. But upon reaching the feudal age, in clicking double bit axe, or rather completing it, and in researching horse collar and any other eco upgrades, Lucho will be gaining a villager for each one researched. So ultimately, can get that villager advantage back, but it'll be on a delay. So take a look at those resources collected and see how they develop over the course of the Dark and Feudal Ages here, as Jordan tries to take what is considered one of the most powerful civilizations in the entire game and steamroll Lucho with it here on Arabia. Take a look at the maps and maybe what we expect to see. Jordan's got a peculiar one because while he does have a back wood line here, a whole lot of empty space in this corner leaves him a little bit open and exposed if somebody can flank around the back side. But forward berries, another consideration for him. A very safe goal back here, though. So pretty easy walling. Get a wall here, and then honestly, you could even wall straight to the town center and have a very compact base, leaving your stone and your berries outside your wall, and then just try to defend those militarily. You could go for something a little bit more ambitious out in front of the stone and then across the front of the berries and then back to the TC or something like that. We'll see what he decides to go for in the long run as he looks for a little bit more scouting and bringing those sheep back home. On the flip side, Lucho's base feels a little bit easier to wall if you're going for larger walls. Actually, it has multiple walling options now that I look at it. Same thing, could do a small wall back here, protecting this wood line. Could even go straight to the TC, leaving the berries a bit exposed. But might feel the need to wall out in front of the berries and across. Forward stone, definitely not the most fun to have to deal with, but I'm not sure you're concerned that much with your stone as the way right now. And in an interesting way, this gold here is kind of protected. You wall from this wood line to this wood line, and then from here to this house, and you're pretty safe. And then just like military buildings here and here, I think. So I don't mind Lucho's position overall, but we'll be curious. Looks like Jordan is going to go for slightly more aggressive walls, try and gain a little bit of space for himself. Now, Chinese versus the Way, in terms of how they'll actually play, I mean, Chinese are just an exceptionally versatile civ. So have the option to go for scouts or for archers. I would probably lean a bit towards archers skirms if I were Jordan. But both are 100% options for him. On the other side, for the Way, I'm a little less certain about. I mean, the Jambé Rider, or Raiders rather, are absolutely nutty, you know, ranged mobile units. And I think that's the ideal unit for you to build into as the Way. I think the question is, can you, do you go archers? Do you go scouts into archers? Into Cav Archers, Jambé Riders? Or do you just try to go like straight archers into it? Not entirely certain. Feudal Age on the way for both players. 18 villagers to 21. Remember that 3 villager advantage that the Chinese player has here. Obviously going up a villager later in that 30-second window. Second lumber camp on the way. No barracks being built just yet. Would expect this. There it is. I was going to say, barracks should be coming up very soon here for both players. So it's going to be scouts for Lucho. Waiting for the barracks on the other side. There it is. And it'll be scouts for Jordan as well. Feudal Age in, double bit axe on the way here for Lucho. Doesn't have the wood yet to build a stable, actually. Wow, he's going for a horse collar now. I mean, Jesus, you're not going to have military for a year then. I guess your opponent just now hit the Feudal Age, so you're pretty aware that you weren't going to be under any kind of pressure. But stable on the way now for Jordan. So Jordan was later to the Feudal Age, but he's going to be first to get the stable up. Spearman, though, coming forward to scout. So we'll get a glimpse of that stable and shouldn't be surprised at all at what he sees. Now Spearman out for Jordan as well. Both poking each other for a brief moment. The battle of the pokes. Oh no! A second poke! That's not fair. Yeah, that's cheating. That was supposed to be an honorable 1v1. Walls are done here on the front side of the base here for Jordan, so feeling probably very safe and comfortable, at least on the front side of his base. Not fully walled just yet. But he's thinking about very aggressive walls. From the stone to the wood line here. I like it. I mean, as long as he can defend it, he saves himself a lot of space. Scout numbers climbing. Scouts in the queue now for Lucho. Lucho as well went for some more aggressive walls here, and I think he will get them up as there's no pressure forward yet here for Jordan. So honestly, a pretty tempered approach to this Arabia. You can see the villager lead as well has completely been nullified, right? And that's because he gained a villager here on the horse collar, and he gained a villager here on the double bit axe. And there's been a tiny bit of idle time for for Jordan, right? So he gained 2 villagers in eco upgrades, and he gained 1 villager in idle time, and that means that he is now equal in the overall build counts, but Jordan still has a resource collected lead because he's had more villagers for longer. Scouts coming forward, they're just going to run into walls, so likely won't find any damage unless they decide to run in. And there's a lot of players who would do that, and Jordan is one of them. Quick walls come up around the wood lines for Lucho, so he's not going to be losing any villagers, at least along the wood lines. Is making his wood a little bit more inefficient, though. And now the villagers on the berries, unfortunately, do get picked off before the walls can come up. That's 1 villager down. And now a hill advantage for Jordan. Lucho, though, bringing the spear around. This could be bad for Jordan. He's even going to go for the wall. Jordan now has to take the fight. Ooh, 4 scouts into 5 scouts. Oh, the pathing is terrible, and he gets the poke from the spearman. 1 scout down. So it's been a scout for a villager in the end when it comes to the trades. Trades out 1 scout, does take the hill advantage, loses the rest. So 4 scouts for a scout and a villager. Don't know how good Jordan's going to feel about that. Although, in the meantime, he's been able to get his walls up completely at home. So normally your concern here would be the counterattack, right? I just lost my army forward. His army's going to come forward and hit me. Well, the good news for Jordan is it's just scouts. It's just melee units coming forward to run into his walls. Also got a good hit there from that spearman on the transition. And now archery range coming up from behind the wall. So this will give him a lot of safety. He can just produce a few skirms, harass over the walls, and focus on his economy. Wheelbarrow in for Jordan. Now just on the way here for Lucho. That will get him yet another villager. And of course, just increase the economic efficiency. What are the farm counts looking like? We got 17 farms for Jordan. We've got 16 here for Lucho. Just getting some damage on the house. Don't hate it. Force a response eventually. Spearman on the field here, though, for Jordan. Means that Lucho is going to have to run away. Can't take that fight against 3 spears. Double archery range coming up at home. So kind of everything playing out the way we would expect. Scouts into archers for Jordan. And scouts into Zombie Raiders for Lucho. Castle Age on the way here for Jordan. The economy's looking pretty clean. Economy's looking pretty clean. Interesting. Lucho went gold upgrade before clicking. Usually conventional wisdom, it's a minor thing, but conventional wisdom is usually castle age click, then gold upgrade like Jordan did. Because it costs 100 food, right? And that 100 food you spent on gold mining could have gotten you to the castle age, right, 10, 15 seconds sooner. And you would still have the mining upgrade by the time you got to the castle age either way. It's totally nitpicky. It's such a minor thing. But I think that is technically why conventional wisdom says as much. Second archery range coming up at home for Jordan. He's just going to happily play into skirmishers. I mean, I think if I'm in Jordan's position, I'm playing the Chinese. I'm behind full walls right now, and I'm building skirmishers against somebody who I know is going to want to play skirms and Zombie Raiders themselves. And I can just defend from behind my walls. This feels really good for Jordan, in my opinion. Get those quick TCs down if I can. Got enough wood for 1 TC. Wouldn't mind a second one. The question is, where do the TCs go? One's going right here. Wood line and stone. Maybe you just put one back on the backside of this wood line. It's more of a farming TC, something like this. Or maybe you just put it against this gold over here. Or maybe you go forward along this wood line, kind of like on this wood and this stone or something like that. Either way, only had enough wood to go for a single town center. So he goes up to 2. Castle Age in for Lucho. Lucho goes for a second town center. Doesn't have yet the wood for a third. Bowsaw coming in for both. Again, a reminder that Bowsaw means he will get another villager as well. So villager leads squarely in favor of Lucho at this point, and now you might start to see the res collected slip back the other direction. elite skirmisher coming in for Jordan. Second armor upgrade as well for Jordan. Already has Bodcanero. So these are going to be max power skirmishers here in the Castle Age, barring a ballistics click. But the town center's up. More villagers in the queue. Jordan looking to even out those eco numbers. First Jambé Raider as well is on the field. Forward we come to do some scouting. I think this is where Lucho will finally become aware of the skirmishers. That's probably the first attack notification he got, and he is seeing them from behind the walls. So what's the pivot, if anything? Some skirmishers of his own still in the queue. There's a hole. Oh my God. He is so lucky that nothing worse happened. There's a hole right there between the gate and the stable. Disaster. But it's not that bad in the end because there's only a couple of these Huegon cavalries rather. And so he can't really push in and find any damage. I wonder then if Lucho just shouldn't have gone in. If he noted that that hole was there, he should have waited. I mean, Jordan hasn't plugged it yet. But there's a debate then if you didn't feel like you could actually do any damage that you don't go through that hole. It'd be a hard decision to make in the moment. But Huegon cavalries are quite strong. As you can see here, they got 4 melee armor, 3 pierce armor. Compare that to a knight, which is 2 and 2 base, right? So Huegongs are much stronger base units than knights. I suppose they have significantly less health, 72 to the 100 of a knight, which is part of where that trade-off comes. By the way, we did get that third town center up at the gold here for Jordan. Just now, a third town center coming up for Lucho. So dead even in the eco and military counts are we still. 25 minutes into this game. Ballistics on the way for Jordan. Skirmishers will be a lot more potent then in picking off opposing skirmishers or the Jambé Raiders. Cav archers now on the field here for Jordan, so he wants a little mobility of his own. I wouldn't mind seeing a group of like 5 cav archers just sent out on a counterattack mission of their own, right? Keep the skirmishers and the knights home for defense. A ram. Now that's a bold choice. I don't hate it. And Jordan doesn't have the Siege Workshop up yet, so maybe this is a really, really slick move here by Lucho. And normally, especially when you see skirmishers, I would have expected a mangonel, right? Mangonel would just flatten those skirms. It's also just kind of the safer and more generally useful of the siege units, right? You have the option to hit from range or from melee. And so it's less committal than a ram. As you can see here, the ram is just dying to skirmishers. But mangonel followed. Does Jordan see it? Does he get hit? Okay, yeah, see. In the end, the ram does go down. The stable will go down, though, for Jordan. So he's going to be stableless here. Great pickoff as well. Gonna end up losing that rocket cart, it looks like, to the Huegon cavalry. But he does kind of stem the bleeding for now. Both siege units are off the field here for Lucho. Housed is Jordan. Ooh, this is a big moment, this castle. He wants to lock down the front of his base, but that is a mangonel on the field. It's mangonel and Huegongs. Is the defense there? Good dodge out on the micro. Both players effectively microing their siege units well. I think Jordan does get this castle up. Lucho doesn't have the opportunity to get his mangonel in there and deny it. So a much safer front of the base here for Jordan. He's been housed this whole time, though, by the way. So as much as it feels good to get this castle up and, like, you know, provide some safety to the front of your base, what did you lose in all that time, right? Like, you're spamming up houses now. You got to relocate your whole economy back over to the stone. And what is the farm count looking like? We've got good food, good bank on the other side here for Lucho. Looks like Jordan did go for a bit of a counter. But Lucho spotted it out, didn't lose too much. It's 2 eco kills to 0 here for Jordan with dead equivalent economies, though. The major difference is the resource bank. So Lucho's a lot quicker to clicking up to the Imperial Age than Jordan is, but Jordan's going to have, I think, the healthier economy. Oh, I take it back, actually. I didn't see the handcart came in earlier for Lucho. 4th town center now for Jordan in the back. I think overall, though, you're happy if you're in Jordan's position. Now going for more of the eco upgrades, just to catch up to the upgrades that your opponent has. But you're playing the more flexible civ. You're playing just one of the most universally flexible civs in the game. You've got everything from mobile range units in the Cav Archers to Chukanu, which is a high-powered range unit, solid skirmishers, solid trash units. You have every upgrade available to you. Right? Over here, just look at this. The way are missing last armor upgrade for Cav and missing last armor upgrade for infantry. So just by virtue of looking at the available technologies, you'd rather be Chinese in the post-Imperial Age. So that's why I think Jordan super happy to play this ultra slow. This monk is not going to get any conversions, but I wonder if he'll see this castle. He will see it with these units coming forward now. So he'll see that. I mean, it's a great hill position here for Lucho. And that was a phenomenal shot from the Mangonel there. Flattened a good number of the skirmishers. And now Jordan, he's losing a rocket cart too. He wants to deny this castle. I don't know how that rocket cart didn't die to that Mangonel shot. It does end up going down in the end. So it's a 2-for-1 trade when it comes to the siege. But Lucho actually getting pushed away from his hill position here. And now Jordan coming to wall it off. Look at this. Stone wall to wall off the castle position. I mean, that is a huge castle position on that hill. And the fact that he's able to not deny that fully when your opponent's on the way to the Imperial Age, this could have been a winning moment right here for Jordan. Lucho, I think, recognizes it too. He says, no, I need that castle to go up. He's thinking about rotating villagers around. He thinks better of it in this moment. Doesn't have the military to support. And now Jordan's going to put a castle of his own up. Bringing more villagers forward for it. He's on the way to the Imperial Age. There's no castle on the field here for Lucho. If Lucho wants siege, he has to go for chemistry, and he does. Chemistry is on the way. Minute and 30 till that's completed, and then he can start producing. Well, I guess he got traction traps. I take it back. He doesn't have bombard cannons. This is me learning more about the new civs the way. So wait. Chemistry, not necessary for the siege production. He's kind of lucky in that regard. Will increase the damage that his siege is doing, but at the very least, he can get siege units on the field here from the front of the base. Skirmishers fighting against the rocket cart. Playing with fire there. The expansion of the economy for Lucho. Look at it. He's doing the great migration. And he needs to, I think. I think that's smart. Good heads-up play. 2 traction trebs on the field already. They don't do a lot of damage, but they're solid mobile siege units. It's going to be difficult for Jordan to deal with in the end. Still a minute away from the from the Imperial Age himself. Going for masonry is going to help keep that castle alive. I mean, it's a castle on a hill against traction trebs with repairs. And as soon as masonry completes, you'll see this is going to become a lot tankier of a castle. Wait, he canceled it and then requeued it. It was just about to complete. What the heck? Is that a misclick, or he just really wanted a different upgrade first? Not a huge deal. It does end up coming in. Cavalier now on the way. I think the big question is, like, if Jordan just can build up a big enough massive units, 6 stables, produce 20+ knights with plate barding, or 20 plus cav with plate barding, and you're in a pretty good spot. Like, I don't think he's going to really need to do much else to be able to run this over. Elite Skirmisher's pretty much fully upgraded, and that's the other thing. Right now, Lucho is teching into Skirm and Archer techs. He doesn't necessarily know that he's about to get hit with a bunch of cav. He's going for masonry himself, some treadmill crane to try and get more buildings up a little bit faster. He has expanded his economy well. He's got a second castle up, so the map control is looking better and better here for Lucho. Coming forward, maybe looking for some raids with the Jambé Riders. Jordan needs to be careful not to allow him an easy pathway into the base. He's going for another castle defensively here, which I like a lot. Loses all of his skirmishers there, though, unfortunately. Doesn't feel particularly good. Trebuchets are on the field, but in that moment, they're not protected. Jordan, you got to be paying attention to your trebuchets. You just spent so many resources putting them out into the world. Rocket cart goes down as well. Still has one trebuchet. Will he be able to keep it alive, though? You got to repair this. You can't let this trebuchet go down. Jordan, oh no. The position is going to get worse and worse. The repairs are coming through right at the final moment. The heavy Guan calories are not going to be enough. Jordan does end up keeping the trebuchets alive. That's pretty crucial for him. Still a difficult position for both players, I think, to navigate. You like the hill here for Jordan, but the military numbers just aren't there to support the trebuchets. We need more cav on the field. He's now up to 17 cavalry. Where are they? They're over here making a mess of the economy. So he is doing a good job of starting to try and hem in the position from Lucho. And as he pulls Lucho's attention to the right-hand side, he pushes forward here with the trebuchets. Cavalier diving in, trying to kill these traction trebs, but the numbers aren't good enough. So the cav are going to go down. He needs more military here to support defensively. Otherwise, the Tiger cav are going to come forward. Tiger cav looking to take out these trebuchets. Jordan looking to pack it up. Isn't going to get that trebuchet to safety in time. So that's one trebuchet down. He's got two more on the field here, but these are expensive losses for Jordan to be stomaching. He does take the TC down. Immediately replace of the TC by Lucho, by the way. He does not give a shit. I know you just took a TC down right here. I liked that spot. There's prime real estate. I'm putting one back up. This is not looking good here for Jordan. I think Jordan tried to do a little bit too much and spread himself too thin. Right? He's moving out to the left-hand side. He tried to fight on the right-hand side, but he left his trebuchets completely unprotected in the center of the map, and now his castle is going down. The Chinese, man, they're a late-game powerhouse Civ because they have so many tech options, but if you don't make a decision and you kind of just overly diversify without creating enough units, you're going to get steamrolled like this, and right now it looks like that's what Lucho's going to do. He's going to steamroll you. Continues his expansion for his economy to the left and the right-hand sides. More castles go down. Jordan's walked into that castle position. The siege is on the field and rolling forward here for Lucho. Jordan having to retreat back to a more defensive position, trying to spam up some barracks here to get more of these Fire Lancers out onto the field. But Fire Lancers get dealt with by the Jambé Raiders. The composition is looking really clean here for Lucho. All right, he's got Jambé for range. He's got the skirmishers for trash, and he's got cav, the light cav, not light cav, the tiger cav rather. That's his highly mobile raiding unit and kind of power unit. Needs to make sure the micro is there. Don't want to lose too many of the Jambé Riders though. Two melee units retreating back underneath the TC. The traction trebuchet is even getting involved in that fight there. But I'd say right now we went from a position where it looked like, you know, Jordan had 60-70% of the map to the shoe being completely on the other foot. Now it's Lucho who's got 60-70% of the map. Another great raid over here on the right-hand side, taking out villagers on this gold mine and the wood line. Jordan in full retreat. Also, the base is open. And I think now with the agency that Lucho has, I won't be surprised if we see those Tiger Cav just run right on by and all the way into the base, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The house walls attempting to come up here for Jordan, but he doesn't get them up in time to prevent the Tiger Cav from coming in. So now you've got a whole bunch of Fire Lancers that have to chase these Tiger Cav around. One villager down, more that will soon follow, I'm certain of it. Yes, eventually these Tiger Cav will fall. Well, Lucho's making a mess of the economy here for Jordan. Jordan gonna go ahead and change where he's trying to apply the pressure. Moves over to the left-hand side of the map. 4 trebuchets on the field. He's bringing the fire lances back to defend, but the tiger calves come forward. That's 1 trebuchet down, 2 trebuchets down, 3 trebuchets down, and now a 4th trebuchet down. That is 30. That is so many resources, guys. Each trebuchet is 400 resources. That's 1,600 resources that he just lost in that single moment. Wood and gold. And now the military is being rerouted over to this side. The trebuchets are slowly rolling forward. Lucho says, you wanted to push here? I wanted to push here. Left flank now from Jordan, about to be under threat. Good trades, though, for Jordan there. Skirmishers into the Jambé Raiders. Tiger Cav in the wing, looking for their moment to strike. Traction trebuchets now firing away on the castle. Fire Lynch is going to look to pop some shots off here in just a moment. Jordan going to have to invest stone into the repairs. Only has 100 stone available to him right now, so he either needs to mine some or buy some soon. Looking to take the hill position. Great micro here by Lucho. Doesn't even really need to take the fight. I mean, he's happy with the status quo, but does decide to take it. Gets that stack patrol. He's on top of the hill. Unfortunately, some of his Tiger Cap were hitting the castle there as opposed to hitting units, but even still, the numbers are good. The numbers are brilliant here for Lucho. He's going to go ahead and clean up all of the Fire Lancers. He's cleaning up all of the Skirmishers. His traction trebuchets are still firing away. The castle position is getting weaker and weaker here for Jordan. Jordan's reinforcements just aren't there, and they've got to come from the wrong position. They've got to run through the Tiger Calves to relink with the rest of the team. It's a little bit of a back and forth. Lucho's got to get the numbers back up, and he's got to be careful not to trade too inefficiently into the counter units. The Jambé Raiders are doing a phenomenal job. Gets that castle down. Now drops a town center, securing himself another gold. For Jordan, let's look at the position. Where's the wood? Where's the wood coming from? You've got no wood, no safety in the back of the base. Terrible wood line over here. You just got pushed off of this wood line. Over here, you're being threatened on a wood line. Really, all the wood here for Jordan is coming from these 2 wood lines, and the castle positions just look so pretty for Lucho. I think this is Lucho's game. Pikeman now the tech here for Jordan, so teching into more trash units. And that's really all he has available to him, because this is his final gold pile right here before he moves on to these. I think Jordan's just going to get resource starved, y'all. I think Lucho just had a better expansion. Jordan wanted to push up the gut. He did a great job denying this initial castle. But without actually being able to deal like a killing blow, a death blow to Lucho, Lucho expanded his economy, bought more of the map control, and he's using his mobility brilliantly. Mobile range units and mobile melee units. Now this is a terrible engagement by Lucho. Maybe a bit of a throw. I don't know if that was a misclick or what, but he basically just threw all of his Jambé Raiders away. And Jordan might have an opening here. All he needs is a snowball. You got 4 trebuchets. 4 trebuchets enough. So now he just needs the military to support it. 150 villagers to 110 here. So Lucho shouldn't have too much trouble replacing his military. But he does need to get units on the field. Where are the units? He's only got 37 military. He's raiding with them. I mean, this is going to do good damage to Jordan's economy, but the halberdiers are there in response. The problem is that now you're going to start losing castle positions. Lucho overboomed. I don't know about overboomed. 150 is totally fine if you're producing high-value units. That's pretty common in pro games. But he's not even pop-capped, right? It's like, if you're 150, you got to have 50 military on the field, and it needs to be strong military. He's just now getting his Tiger Calves over here, but there's enough Fire Lancers and Halberdiers to defend. Traction Trebs trying to kill the trebuchets here of Jordan. Repairs coming in as well for Lucho. He's got plenty of stone in the bank for the time being. He's also going for keep upgrade, which is pretty wild. So already thinking about secondary defensive measures. Jambé Raiders popping shots off against these Fire Lancers. Tiger Cav jumping into the wood line. Jordan about to lose a whole bunch more villagers. Needs to respond to that. Light Cav coming over here as another meat shield unit for Jordan. Jordan, though, losing another 20 villagers. Down below 100 villagers for the first time in a long time in this game. 160 pop to 200 in total. Things are still overall looking good for Lucho if he can hold this position. Things are still looking good here for Lucho. He's going to dive in on the Trebs. He's thinking about diving in on the Trebs. One Treb going to go down. How many go down is the big question. It's just one Trebuchet so far, but more villagers being threatened. There's no wood on the map for Jordan. You can see how ugly it's getting. He's dropping 3 different lumber camps around this wood line. Tiger Cav now diving into the back of Jordan's base as well. That means more villagers are going to go down, and Jordan has to make this push pay off. It's right here, right now. If these Trebuchets go down and this push is stopped, it's Lucho's game. Simple as that. And I think he will. I think he will. He's holding this. He's holding the hill position with the Jambé Raiders. And Jordan's gonna. How much stone do you have? Says Jordan. You can hear him say it. Repaired that castle for ages. Castle took 22.5k damage in total, and it's still max health. I mean, look how many villagers were committed to this. There's 25 villagers repairing this castle, but a great showing out of Lucho. Really good economy expansion. He matched the economy of the Chinese really, really well, and he just did a better job of grabbing more of the map and then ultimately using that mobility to his advantage, right? And he got the different raiding units into the back of Jordan's economy, and that brings him to a 2-1 series point in the scoreline. Well done, Lucho. Well done, Lucho. Game number 4 right around the corner, y'all. So away we go, y'all. Game number 4 between Jordan and Lucho in Hamsters vs Clowns. Best of 5 series, and we are on Serengeti. Fairly Arabia-like, so wouldn't be surprised if we see, you know, a very similar game as the last one. As we take into account, of course, their civilizations here. So it's Lucho playing in the blue as the Jurchens, up against Jordan playing in the red as the Persians. Once again, 2 civilizations that are going to be more than happy to play into cavalry. So I would not be surprised if we see that feudal into scouts play, and then from there, a bit of a development and diversification from each player. Persians, of course, get the benefit of that faster working town center, so should ever so slightly get a villager lead, both in their villager production, but also their age ups happening a little bit quicker. So I would assume a small economic advantage for Jordan overall, as we take a look at the Jurchens as a civilization, where they're going to benefit more from their military. Right. While the meat of hunted and livestock animals doesn't decay, and that is a ever so small economy boost in the Dark Age, right? The fact that you're just getting the true value of food off of your zebras and your elephants and things like that. The Jurchens are going to benefit from things like their mounted units attacking faster. So scout v scout, the Jurchens just have a better scout. So the investment of 80 food for a scout is worth more for the Jurchens than it is for the Persians per se. So perhaps a small economic advantage against a small military advantage on the other side. We're gonna see which of these players can navigate this one with more precision. Both players trying to push in the hunt. It looks like for Jordan, unfortunately, the ostrich have desynced from each other, so he's not going to get the double push, but he will eventually get that ostrich in, also bringing in an elephant as well. 1 second idle time for both players. Mills coming up. Just a question of how quickly they get to the next stage. Looking at the maps, it is Serengeti, so it's typically a little bit harder to wall than, say, in Arabia, but both are fairly open. I mean, for Lucho, if he really wanted to, could try to wall off from here to here and then right in front of this hill to protect this forward gold. If he's feeling like that's not possible. Could look to just like wall to the TC and instead protect this gold. I could see more of that. Like you give up this gold on the hill here for now, and you just look to kind of wall to the TC and protect this gold. 2 back stones, but all of his wood lines aren't terribly protected. Jordan, I would argue, has a much better back wood line here, even a better back gold. Where you could wall from this wood line to this wood line here and protect a lot of the back of your base. Or even if you really wanted to, you toss a tower up here, and both of those resources are safe for a very long time. Also, this is a much easier wall off, and then you wall to the TC. So I think Jordan's got a far superior map to Lucho in this 4th game. And so the expectation would be that he can get these walls up, get to the feudal age, and play with a lot of aggression. I'd like to see him make a mess of Lucho's base, take advantage of this solid setup that he has. Feudal age on the way for both players, separated by not even a full second. Barracks on the way up here for Lucho. Coming forward now for some scouting information. Jordan, by the way, has been pushing zebras and ostrich this whole time, so no scouting information on his opponent. Lucho will get a quick peek at Jordan doing that livestock pushing. Scout in the front of the base. I think the moment, though, that he sees these walls, he should know that he's going to have a really difficult time applying any pressure. Walls up. Trap attempt. Oh, both players hitting the feudal age at the same time, though, but it looks like Jordan did get one downhill hit. Oh, wait, but Jordan's going to lose this. Oh, no, that's terrible. They got, even though Jordan got the downhill hit, which gave him the health advantage, it wasn't disparate enough that the desync in the auto attacks would actually work out in favor for Lucho. So that's pretty big, actually. Just the fact that Lucho's still going to get this scouting information. He sees the stable going up. He saw the spearmen come out, right? He's going to be able to get more information on Jordan's base layout. Reminder, Jordan was back here pushing deer the whole time. He didn't go forward and get scouting information. So that's what this spearman's going to try to do. Jordan should have given the Nikov line at the end of last game. Yeah, he should have. I love Jordan, though. I love that that's always so positive. Even when he's losing, you know, like, I read that still as kind of like a, oh, my, how do you have so much stone? You know, like, he's just such a happy-go-lucky guy, even in the face of what is probably an infuriating loss there. Dealing 22,000 damage to a castle and seeing it still at full health has got to be a little bit depressing. More spears on the field here for Jordan, so he correctly identifies that the Jurchens are going to go for cavalry. Of course, he didn't do that with scouting. He's just doing that with his knowledge of the civilization itself. Gets a scout out on the field himself. He's got a few spears out here. Now, there is a hole. Oh, no, there isn't. He did get that wall up. Okay, so no hole. And also not that that Lucho would want to dive into that base as of just yet. Scout engagement on the front of the base, trading out in some HP. No kills just yet, other than that initial scout kill. And so it's 1-to-1 in the eco, or in the overall KD. Farms coming down now here for Jordan. Does have horse collar. Both players, in fact. Horse collar, double bit axe. Massive walls by Lucho. So it's what we talked about as the first option of walls here for Lucho. They're way more aggressive walls, but they do secure an extra gold here, and as long as he does actually complete them, arguably more advantageous in the long run. Buys him a lot of space. A lot of time investment, though, from these villagers. A lot of resource investment from these villagers. The big thing is, though, he's only able to do this because of the pressure he was applying. Now, I say that. 3 scouts coming forward. The walls aren't complete. He does have scouts coming home in response, though, and he will get the villager out of dodge. Jordan wants to take the fight. He does have the hill advantage with the villager and the spearman coming over to help. So instead, he's going to turn tail and run. Losing 1 scout for it does appear, then, that Lucho's going to be able to get these walls up. So, a 3v3 Spearman battle on the right-hand side of the map. Why not? 1-for-1 is the trade between those two. What are we fighting over here, by the way? Just funny. Just funny. Because why not? And now the scouts are coming as well. Now, who's got the micro? Jordan's... I was going to say, Jordan's spears were doing more work there. He's got the hill position. He did just get a hit on one of those scouts, though. Takes out the spear. But now he's got two exceptionally weak scouts. I mean, I would just put both of those on auto scout. Send one to this corner, send one to that corner, and then auto scout them. Archery range on the way here for Jordan. Let's take a look at the food economies. We've got 14, now 15 farms here for Jordan. On the flip side, we're up to 12 for Lucho. So slightly better food economy for the Persian player. Now archery range being built here for Lucho. So Jordan just maybe a step ahead, but also a little bit to be expected. He does have the ever so slight resource collected up advantage, given that he's got a couple more villagers. Like we talked about, that's perfectly within, you know, the acceptable lines of a matchup between Jurchens and Persians. Blacksmith now on the way, since we do have the archery range up. But I think both players are just concerned with getting to the castle age. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we see no more military being produced unless he feels like Lucho's going to break through the walls. But just 2 scouts is all he sees right now. So no resources being spent. Blacksmith up. Looking for the force drop here in just a moment. Bam, 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 bam. Let's get to that 800 mark. And up we go. On the other side, we've already clicked as well. So both players on the way to the castle age. No blacksmith, though, for Lucho. He needs to not forget. This is a situation where I could see Lucho forgetting that he doesn't have a blacksmith. Because he clicked up to the castle age, and I feel like oh, no. It's over here. It's going down. He did not forget. That's good. That's good. Because a lot of players, I feel like, do complete their blacksmith before they click to the castle age. So I could see a world where, well, if I'm going to castle, I just assume I have it. And then I get to castle and I go for that bodkin upgrade or something like that. And realize I don't have a blacksmith yet. But they both are going to get those blacksmiths up. Clutching on the way here for Jordan. Second archery range on the field as well. I hate that gate. I hate that gate so much. Third archery range. Jordan, what are we doing? Okay, 3 archery ranges. I would have deleted this palisade and built the gate between these 2 buildings. I would still have a 1-tile choke for when I want, but I'd rather have I'd rather have this be my exit. I'm so nitpicky in this moment because I assume he's going to delete this house once he finishes that gate. But third archery range up for Jordan. Now we have a gate over here for Lucho. Lucho's on 2 archery ranges. Jordan's going cav archers, though. Bloodlines in first armor as well. Needs to get that bodkin click as soon as he has the food. But with bodkin on the other side, we're also looking at cav archers. So it's 2 archery range production to 3 archery range production. Means the archer numbers or the cav archer numbers are going to be far better here for Jordan. And I would be very concerned then in Lucho's position. When you're playing the same unit as somebody else, being outmassed is a very easy way to lose. Right? But either being out-teched or outmassed is a very easy way to lose. And while Persians don't necessarily want to run cav archers beyond the castle age, they've got perfectly good castle age cav archers. So the first 3 come forward. They're about to run into the walls here of Lucho, as we can see on the left-hand side. Lucho going to be able to push that away for the time being. Did he get bow? He did go bow saw before bodkin. That's super greedy. I mean, again, I guess as long as no fights are taken and lost in that time, he didn't get punished for it at all, in which case you would want the eco upgrade first. There is bow saw on the other side. Now up to 9 cav archers, though. I think the real question is when's ballistics coming in? There's the university for Jordan. The university's already up here for Lucho, and ballistics is on the way. So ballistics for both players. We got bloodlines for both players. Do we have husbandry for both players? We do not have husbandry for both players. Jordan is playing without husbandry right now. You can see the speed on his cav archers are 1.4. Husbandry on the opposite side, though, with 1.54 move speed. So there's a difference in the mobility of the units. Jordan, though, is also now getting Parthian Tactics. Parthian Tactics. Let's go find it. They receive increased melee and pierce armor and also deal more attack versus spearmen. So this is an exceptionally good upgrade against other archers. And the Persians have access to Parthian Tactics in the Castle Age. Normally an Imperial Age upgrade. The Persians get it in the Castle Age. Now Husbandry coming in and Ballistics. I'm worried for Lucho. I am worried for Lucho in this environment. Also, Jordan able to break through the walls over here. Looks like he's going to go ahead and run because he saw that the numbers were matched. But overall, I would be way more comfortable in Jordan's position. Look at this. Look at the armors. Let's compare them, right? He's got +2, +3 to +1, +1. Jordan is going to be dealing, right, 8 damage -1. He'll be doing 7 damage a hit to the Cav Archers here. And he'll only be taking 5. That's wild. That's a wild, wild advantage if they're ever in straight up fights. So Lucho really cannot afford to take CA versus CA fights. Did, by the way, drop a second town center and one on the front of his base. Gives a little bit of safety to this wood line. Jordan as well got a second TC up. So still pretty close in the overall economy counts. But don't forget, Persians have faster working town centers. And that's a great engagement here for Jordan so far with Ballistics. He's the one who gets the jump. Lucho is running forward and unfortunately loses 2 Cav Archers immediately. The micro at play for both players here, trying to dodge out in Ballistics. And we got armor upgrade coming in for both at the exact same time. So it's not going to change too much about the makeup of the fight, right? Because as they match upgrades, Jordan's always going to come out ahead. Siege Workshop up. Jordan sees it on its way up. Is he going to get the Vil Snipe? He won't get the Vil Snipe, but he will delay the Siege Workshop. Lucho, I think right now is feeling a little bit of pressure. I think he realizes that if the status quo remains, he's just going to lose ever so slowly, right? I'm just producing the same unit, but worse. Same, but worse, as they say. Is Serengeti just a glorified Arabia with some pretend lakes? Pretty much, JJ. That is pretty much exactly it. It is very much an Arabia-coded map. I would say it's just slightly more open, slightly more aggressive than in Arabia, right? Because these wood lines are a little bit more holy, if you will, and they're a little bit more spread out. So just an even more aggressive version of an Arabia, but largely can be considered to play the same. Jordan, though, he's the one in the driver's seat. He's got eyes on this Siege Workshop as well, so as long as he knows that that Siege Workshop isn't getting put up. I don't know if I love this trade. Yeah, over the wood line there, up the hill. Siege Workshop up, though, now for Jordan. He's beaten his opponent to the Siege Workshop. Mangonel now in production, and Lucho does not know about this. Crucially, Lucho does... Housed! We're housed! Okay, dropping houses in the back, but with only 1 villager, so the urgency isn't really there for Jordan. But the Mangonel is about to pop, 75%. Villagers coming out to get this Siege Workshop up. I mean, the Siege Workshop's going to have like 50% of its health upon completion, and actually still hasn't even completed it. Mangonel thinking about coming forward. I think that this Siege Workshop now has to be abandoned, and this TC is about to be under fire. Really tricky position here for Lucho. Housing market sucks anyway. You're right. It's not even ideal property. Look at that. HOA fees are just ridiculous, too, in that neighborhood. All right, TC pressure. Right now he's attacking the palisade wall, not the TC itself. But either way, this wood line is a dead wood line now. Lucky for Lucho, he did get these more aggressive walls up earlier, so he actually has wood lines that he can retreat to. And these wood lines, although they're ugly, they're not terrible because they have 200 wood on each tree, on the baobab trees, so it's not the worst. Rocket cart out, but it's already 2 Mangonels on the field here for Jordan. Jordan thinking about running in with the Cav Archers! Oh! Splits away from the rocket cart. Wonder what the attempt was there. Felt very aggressive. Reposition of the Cav Archers here. 3rd Mangonel on the field. Rocket cart rolling forward, looking for hits. Does get a little bit of a snipe and a tiny bit of damage onto the Cav Archers. target fire from Jordan is solid, but not perfect, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. 1-for-1 trades for the defender are always preferred over for the player on offense, right? Jordan's kind of had to stop and think, and this whole time, every time Lucho trades one off, buys himself a little bit of time. Jordan did go for the third town center, though, and he's now grabbing space. One of the first games, it really feels like Jordan is the one who's controlling the map. Did lose another mangonel on the front of in the frontal engagement, though. So great find there for Lucho. We're now even in the Siege Workshop units. 2 rocket carts to 2 mangonels. Third mangonel on the field now, making me a liar. Cav archers, though, need to be careful. Jordan's got his eyes on them. Does lose one of those mangonels. Gets an okay hit. It looked like an okay hit. Apparently did no damage to those cav archers. Slippery fellas. Another trade of siege units means 1-to-1 in the overall siege count. So now we look back at the resources. Very little progress being made militarily. So what does the map look like, right? More farms coming out. The resources looking phenomenal here for Lucho, and Jordan now spreading out to more wood lines. I would be concerned for Jordan that as he spreads out, he's creating targets for raids, right? His walling is now ineffective, right? Even his main, his original base, completely open towards raiding. So I think it does mean that Jordan's going to have to kind of continue to control the game, dictate where the action is happening and where the engagements are happening, because if at some point he lets Lucho out of his base, lets those cav archers come forward, or maybe like a group of 5 light cav come forward, all of a sudden his eco could evaporate. So I do think that this pressure is paramount, right? Like, it's doing amazing work for him, but I think he needs to maintain this pressure, or he needs to do something, in terms of creating more of a defense. This tells me the answer that we have. That's the answer right there. When you throw a mill out in the middle of goddamn nowhere, a forward mill, that means your whole plan is never to lose your position. Like, Jordan now has decided, I cannot lose my forward positions. I need to be the aggressor. And that's why he's going to take fewer defensive steps to protect his economy. He did take a hit to the face there with the rocket cart, but he's able to take the rocket cart out. Now diving into Lucho's base. So as much as I talked about the lack of safety for Jordan's economy, the economy here for Lucho is now under threat. Cav archers, though, need to regroup, play together. Archery range was denied for the time being. Lucho now moving on to stone. Thinking about a castle, perhaps. He does have 1,000 stone in the bank. Where's that castle going to go? We got to drop it. Maybe a castle here. Maybe a castle here to grab back the front of your base. Either way, he does manage to push Jordan out. Imperial Age about to come in now for Lucho. 140 still to go here for Jordan. More stables coming up for Jordan, which I love. You expect the tech switch. 6 stables in total. So it'll be cav archers plus knights / cav for Jordan. On the flip side, it's cav archers. Now remember, Jordan's cav archers are already essentially maxed out, right? Once he hits imp, he can get the next armor upgrade, but he's not really ever going to hit any harder other than like a chemistry upgrade. Persian knight bonus works against CA. That is correct. That is correct. So these knights are going to hit really hard when they connect, but you obviously have to close the distance. And for Lucho, what's big about what just happened is he sees. He may have been able to expect the tech switch, but now he sees the tech switch. He knows the knights are on the field. He knows that the stables are up. So he can expect that Jordan is going to be investing into those cavalry upgrades. And now he just needs to make sure that he's got a big enough mass of cav archers. Trebuchet on the way here for Lucho. He got a great forward castle position on the hill, protecting the stone, protecting the wood line. Maybe the best feeling position all game here for Lucho, though he did just lose some cav archers to that castle position by Jordan. Jordan getting it up just in time to protect against some of the attempted raids there from Lucho. Military counts fairly even. Villager counts fairly even. But we've got plate barding and cavalier now coming in for Jordan. Jordan is showing an extreme amount of patience here. Needs to sort out the eco just a little bit. Let's get a mining camp on that stone. Gonna lose this TC position, but he won't be that mad about it because there's not that much gold left, just 500 here before the villagers are gonna have to head back home. Now for Lucho, of course, he's running the cav archers as is. He's got the iron pagodas as another option. Very strong against melee attacks, which would be good against the knights, of course, from the Persians. Wow. Look at the patience. Look at the patience from Jordan. I think Lucho's probably feeling like something is about to, you know, come his way. What exactly that is, he should be pretty certain. He saw the knights, he saw the stables, and now he's seeing how much time it's taking for Jordan to engage. Forging in. Savar 50 seconds away. The numbers are climbing up to 15 with 4 more in the queue. Jordan does need some siege to support this, though. It's nice and all that you might be able to take this Treb down and even raid your opponent, but you do need to kill at some point. We've got all of the outposts out, so plenty of vision for both players. Nobody's going to get surprised, it looks like, by any raids. There, Savar is now completed. 24, 26 Savar on the field. Lucho sees it. The moment Lucho sees it, I think you have to go as Jordan. I'm not really sure it's worth waiting for too many more upgrades. And it does look like he might start rolling forward. Wants to take down this Treb. Treb's already trying to pack itself up. Maybe just run right by into the eco. Just dive right in. There's so many exposed villagers here. Jordan wrapping those Savar in. He's looking for the straight-on engagement. He's got his own cav archers behind still. Huge meat shield in the Savar. These Savar are so tanky. They're going to take such little damage, even from fully upgraded cav archers and castles here. Jordan continues to dive in. Lucho's abandoning that forward position. He's in full retreat mode with the Cavalier, or with the CA. He doesn't have any counter units to the Savar, though. Jordan reroutes the cav archers back. He's still in full chase mode. I think you need to break some of these off. A really good kite, honestly, by Lucho in that moment. Didn't lose too many cav archers. He's keeping the numbers high. And Jordan now is going to go for a bit of the raiding action. Splitting into groups here are the Savar. Full chase now from the heavy cav archers. Over here, Jordan's going to take the opportunity to expand his position. Still no siege on the map. That's the big problem here for Jordan, is he doesn't have a single trebuchet or anything on the map to actually achieve any pushing with. Great cleanup here by Lucho. He really hasn't lost much. Look, the Eco KD is only 10-3. We are in a 44-minute game with Savar in the base, and it's only a 10-3 Eco KD. Maybe a couple villagers going to go down here, but not before the cav archers get a whole bunch of more valuable kills against these Savar. So I'm not sure Jordan's going to see that as a huge positive. He ran in with about 25 Savar. He came out with about 8 to 10 kills. I don't know if I would call that ideal. Granted, he's got an 11 villager lead. He's replenishing the military stores here. He does still have 39 Savar on the field, and he did gain some of the map control. This castle's going to go up. Lucho's going to become aware of it right as it completes. Still a trebuchet on the field here for Lucho, but finally a trebuchet on the field for Jordan. And I think once the siege gets involved, Jordan's going to feel a lot better about his winning chances in this one. Lucho with the Hussar. I mean, this is where Jordan's base layout could bite him. You get those Hussar back here, no safety for those villagers. That's 20 dead villagers. So Jordan on the chase now with the Savar against those Hussar. A couple villagers will go down to maybe even up the KD just a little bit. Jordan got some good cleanup kills over here in the south before the Savar ended up going down. So up to 26 eco kills is he now. More raiding over here on the left-hand side with the Savar. Really using the mobility to his advantage. Expands for a castle position out here. 75 shoes on the other foot. This is the exact opposite story of the last game, Where Lucho was able to expand, was able to take 70% of the map and use his mobility to his advantage, it looks like Jordan is taking a page out of that playbook and doing exactly the same thing the other direction. Yeah, Jurchens definitely want to be running the CA as their long-range unit. They would prefer the Iron Pagoda over the Hussars for sure. But even if they had a full military comp of CA plus Hussar, they wouldn't be too mad about that. Jordan just got to get the siege involved. I'm a little concerned with the pace of development here. Like, all the ideas are there. It just feels a little slow. You know what I mean? Like, these trebs have been on the field now for a few minutes, and we're not hitting anything. We've had 65 Savar on the field for a few minutes, and we're not pushing anything, right? Like, we're raiding a bit, which is good, but the siege needs to come forward. We just need to hit this castle is all. I think Jordan just about to pull the trigger on that, so definitely does feel like he's taking his foot off the gas, but I think he's got enough momentum that it's not going to hurt him, right? Like, he's going to benefit from the momentum that he's built over the course of this game. He's going to benefit just from the superior economy that the Persians have. But it definitely feels a little lackluster in the close, right? Like this, the fact that this is happening, I don't love this. To me, is giving Lucho chances. It's just giving Lucho chances. A group of 5 Hussar come in, they get cleaned up. Another group of 5 Hussar come in and kill some more villagers. It was how long ago that the Eco KD was 28-3 or something like that, and now you can see the gap is closing a little bit. If enough of those eco kills come through and the centralized push isn't enough, then Lucho has a way back into the game. But now we're seeing the overwhelming power of the Persians. There are 80 Savar on the field. 80 Savar and nothing else. Who needs to have a well-rounded composition when you just have the most powerful unit in the game? The Savar. Persians now rolling forward. Castle goes down. 4 trebuchets on the field here. And I don't think Lucho has the army composition to deal with it. Doesn't have the counter units, doesn't have any pikes or halberdiers on the field. It's cav archers and nothing else trying to defend. Now the barracks come up as a last-ditch effort. Castle at home inside the economy for defense. That's going to do good work, but how long is it going to remain? 4 more trebuchets come forward, so as one castle goes up, another castle will go down. The Savar production continues as well, still keeping a healthy number, 75 plus Savar on the field with a shrinking position here now for Lucho. Jordan even knows about the corner position and he's sending villagers over. Actually, he didn't know. He was just coming out for gold himself. It's not going to matter because the push is too strong here for Jordan. Straight through the center of the base. Castle number 1 is going to go down. Soon to be castle number 2 if the GG isn't called beforehand. We're going to go to a game number 5, y'all. Persians versus Jurchens. Jordan gets it done against Lucho. Silver Scrapes, cue it up. Hamsters versus Clowns is delivering. You can see here the halberdier on the field, but it's going to be too little, too late. Jordan even being respectful of those halberdier for the moment. Just going to regroup his Savar, but now he can take the engagement against the counter unit, stack up those Savar, melt the halberdier, and then roll through the base. TC goes down. Now the production building's under fire. Villagers are idle. Not enough halberdier on the field. And the GG is called. Woo! 2-2, y'all. All gonna come down to this 5th and final game. We will be closing things out, rightfully so, on Arena in this one. Let's get right into it. All tied up at 2-2. Lucho playing as the Hindustanis in the blue here on the left-hand side, up against Jordan in the red, playing as the Bengalis. 2 very strong Arena civs. We'll start things off on the Bengali side. Of course, huge economic upgrades in that their town center will spawn 2 extra villagers each time they reach the next age. So you're not getting that economic benefit right out the gate like some other civilizations, which might have more Dark Age focused bonuses. But the moment you hit the feudal age, 2 villager advantage. The moment you hit the castle age, 4 villager advantage because you got 2 more. And then, of course, going to the imperial age, if you have built more TCs, and even greater villager advantage. So kind of a scaling villager advantage and eco advantage here for the Bengalis, on top of having just some very strong bonuses when it comes to arena, both in their monks being a lot tankier and harder to kill, which makes the relic battles a lot smoother, let's say, for the Bengalis, as well as their potency against enemy scouts being a little bit better. Strong elephants, of course, if you manage to get all the way into a post-imperial setup. And, of course, they have a very strong unique unit in the Ratha, being both ranged and melee, so having options there. On the flip side, we have the Hindustanis. Hindustanis, their eco bonus is available to them from the beginning of the game and also scales, but villagers costing less food in Dark Feudal Castle and Imperial Age at different percentage breakpoints just means from the very beginning of the game, it's easier for you to get to that 500 food marker to go up to the Feudal Age and things like that. So just kind of, it's smooth. It just makes your curve really smooth when it comes to your economy build. They as well, though, very unique infantry unit coming out of their castle. Their unique unit in the Ghoulam, a phenomenal raiding unit, great against archers, of course, but dealing some pass-through damage. And then the only civ in the game that gets the Imperial Camel Rider, which is, of course, exceptional against other cavalry units. Hindustanis also have very solid gunpowder later in the game with Chattagni, where their hand cannoneers get a +2 range, making them some of the best hand cannons in the game. So neither civ is that upset about going late to the Imperial Age. Both civs can be happy to play for castle and unique units. So there's a lot of options. There's a lot of possibilities here. I would generally think that, yeah, Bengalis probably want to be a little bit more aggressive on Hindustanis. If Hindustanis are getting to hand cannoneer, Ghoulam, or like hand cannoneer with even Hussar in front, I think that can be a really, really difficult composition for you to ever break through as the Bengalis. But regardless, I think both are still very happy in the late game. And so I think, rightfully so, this one's going to come down more, I think, to the play on the field. Do I like Imp Camel plus Chattagni hand cannons or fully upgraded elephant archers? I mean, I like fully upgraded elephant archers if there's no skirms involved at all. Because elephant archers will melt the camels on their way in. And then they're going to be able to tank enough hand cannon shots. But if you also have some skirms, and then we're involving maybe some siege, some onagers, some mangonels, and things like that, then I might prefer the diversity of the Hindustani composition a little bit more. Not 100% though, to be honest. That is definitely where I need, like, one of the biggest improvements that I can make as a caster and a commentator in Age of Empires is my understanding of things like that, like matchups, like civ matchups, but as well as just like unit matchups. Like if you were to take 10 elite battle elephants, you know, against 20 halberdiers, who wins? You know, like, I don't actually know. I know that halberdiers are a counter, but like in the straight up, like, I don't know where the breakpoints of certain fights are. You know what I mean? So like if it's 30 hand cannoneers, 15 imperial camels, you know, against 45 elephant archers, who wins? I would think the 45 elephant archers do. But extra range Hindu, yeah, exactly. Hand cannons with extra range are just insane, right? You could just literally run Hussars in front of them. That's why earlier I said Hussars hand cannons. Like, even though Imperial Age camels are nice and will do a lot of damage if they close the gap on the archers, honestly, if you just put Hussars in front of your hand cannons and your hand cannons can't get hit, then that's pretty crazy. Feudal Age on the way here for Lucho. Just ever so slightly ahead of Feudal Age on the way for Jordan. So one extra villager for Jordan to work with. You can already see the 2 extras queued up for when he hits the Feudal Age barracks even. Wow. Barracks on the other side. Just going to be fast castle. Both players have scouted the center of the map, getting as much information as they can. Second wood line. Lucho, 20 seconds from the feudal age. Expecting the blacksmith. Market. Maybe market back here. That's where this villager's going. Market. Blacksmith back here. What the heck? Stable. Okay. I was very wrong. Blacksmith stable. So they're going to be fighting for relics. If we're going blacksmith stable. Blacksmith stable. Alright, it's a relic battle, y'all. Lock in. But that's where Bengali monks, man. I feel like Bengali monks get the advantage here, no? Now, Lucho will make it to the castle age first, because he's ahead by that one villager right now. It is a 3 villager discrepancy. Just remember that 2 of those villagers came from the eco bonus of the Bengalis. So really, only one of those has been created, or been invested in, we should say. But this is what we're talking about. 3 villager advantage, right? Already for the Bengalis. And the moment they hit the castle age, that 3 becomes a 5. A 5 villager advantage is nothing to scoff at this early in the game. And if most of the game is then just going to be... Oh, good first hit there by Jordan. Every little bit matters. Every little bit matters between the scouts. I'm almost surprised to not see a single spearman, but I guess if you think monks are going to be the play for both players, then you kind of don't want spearmen on the field to just be freely converted. Now, Jordan, of course, will win this trade if no other hits are had. He sees it. Oh, what a... There you go. Jordan gets his revenge from the last game. Jordan gets his revenge from the last game where he had the health advantage but still lost the trade because of the desync. Now he gets the kill between the scouts. And he wants to get this home because you get that home and you get the monastery up. And then you heal the scout. Does Lucho go in? He does not. Scout gets home. That's actually a huge moment. 1 scout kill for Jordan, and looks like maybe another engagement. Will Lucho be able to cut him off here? No, he will not. Okay, castle age is reached by both players. Monastery on the way for Jordan. It's already almost complete here for Lucho. So once again, Lucho is going to get the monks onto the field first. Let's look at the relic positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's okay. So it's only a 5 relic generation. I don't know if the Hamsters versus Clown one can do like the 7 relics. I would give ever so slightly. Actually, they're pretty fairly evenly generated. Like these 2 closer to Jordan. This one for sure closer to Lucho. These 2 are more even. So actually, maybe even Jordan has got a slightly better generation here. For the relics. 1 monk on the field already. Going to heal up these scouts before moving out. Jordan went for the light cav upgrade, though. So that's one major difference here is that Lucho does not yet have the light cav upgrade. He is going to see the light cav upgrade here. And Jordan will see the monk that is now on its way out onto the field. Going to protect this relic with his life. Healing up the light cav that he has at home. So it's all about jockeying for position for both of these players. Second town centers coming up for both of them. Very stable game. Very even game so far, y'all. Light cav just completed here for Lucho 2. Jordan has split 1 light cav off. He's going to guard the front relic. How about this? Lucho says, okay. I'm gonna... Uh-oh. Nope. That's it. What? What? What is it? Shift click again? How do you do it? Shift or right click. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so Jordan will have seen it just gotten picked up. Or should have seen it just gotten picked up. Dude. Secret Agent Monk over here. That's the stealthiest monk I've ever seen in my life. All right, back to the regular Fog of War we go. I mean, Lucho's getting one home for sure. Already on his way out for the second. And it's the same one that Jordan's hunting for, actually. So Jordan's not going to... Lucho's going to get there first. And I don't think Jordan's going to recognize. He's going to be too focused on this scout engagement over here. So that's going to be 2 relics home now for Lucho. And very likely a third. Oh, wait. Yeah. This is big for Lucho. This is big, big, big. Okay, 1 relic for sure coming home for Jordan here with this monk. He's got another monk on the way over to collect the second. And that will leave just this 5th and final relic as a contested or a possible contested relic. Actually, Jordan about to lose this monk here. 100% going to lose that monk there. Lucho sees it. Lucho gets it. It's 1 relic to 2 right now. Jordan does have a light cav forward. No conversion to be had there. Don't bring this one back. Oh, if he brings that one back, he's giving up that relic. He really wants to secure this second one, and rightfully so. So he's bringing all of his light cav home right now to protect the monks. Now going back once again for the scouting information. Jordan, it should end up 3 relics for Lucho and 2 for Jordan. Yo, Tantalus, thank you so much for the 41 months. I appreciate you. That tier 1 going on almost 4 years of support. That is wild. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Still, though, it feels like the only person who's actually getting closer to securing a relic is Lucho. Finally, monk on the way out. This is going to be 3 relics here for Lucho. Jordan's numbers are climbing in the light cav. But the monks are not supporting right now. So who wins this trade? Took the fight before forging came in. Jordan loses the trade. This is disaster for Jordan. Look at the KD. 11-5? That's terrible. That's horrible. No, I mean, I don't even know if Jordan's getting 2 relics now. Jordan might actually only get 1. He canceled forging too because the fight was pretty much over by the time forging was about to complete. Now Jordan did go up to a 3rd TC and is working on his 4th. We've got 4 TCs over here for Lucho as well. So let's just check in again. And basically that same villager lead is held for Jordan up to this point. University on the way. This will allow Lucho to click whenever he wants once he has the resources. We have the market back at home. No 2nd building just yet for Jordan, though. So Jordan will have a tougher time clicking unless he drops a castle, which he's obviously looking towards with 7 on stone. Still 1 relic on the field. Monk coming forward. Yeah, Jordan's just trying to defend it at this point. Make it a costly relic. His res collected, though, looking significantly better. Let's not forget he had heavy plow as well, where his opponent does not. So the investment onto the farms was far more worthwhile for Jordan. Net positive in the resources there. Relic just picked up here for Lucho. So trying desperately to get this 4th relic home. And you can already see relic gold is going to become a big factor later down the line. It also just enable Lucho to get all of the upgrades he needs as he's already on the way to the Imperial Age. Jordan is also on the way to the Imperial Age. He's now going for a 5th town center. That way he gets the full benefit of reaching the Imperial Age. So this is going to be 10 villagers when he hits Imp. Does res collected consider farm expenses? No, it is just tracking the res that is truly collected. So it's not then minusing the wood that you spend here, for example, to make a farm. So yeah, context matters for all the stats on the scoreboard, right? Where it's like, yeah, that is the res that he's collected, but not the res that he's spent, right? There I think is a res. Maybe there's not. I could have sworn there was a res spent there, but even if you look here, you can look at the value. This is the value of the military units, so you can even see to like, okay, well, Lucho's got, you know, like more value on the field or something like that, but yeah, look at that. Stables. 4 stables, elephants. Okay. Okay. I mean, he's running it back. It didn't work when he was playing the Malay elephants, but now he's going to run it back with the Bengalis because they're way stronger. Castle going up here for Jordan. Just gives him some protection on the front of his base. Now it's a forward castle here for Lucho, though. Both going to hit the Imperial Age at the same time. And I wonder who this benefits, to be honest. Bengali Eli bonus. 25% less bonus damage and are more consistent to resistant to conversions, which is actually very important because elephants, one of the biggest counters to them is, of course, conversions. And so they're going to have a nice little bit of a bonus there. And then receiving less bonus damage just means they're better against their own counters, right? With Tootin' Ally would be crazy. Light Cav running into the castle there. That makes Lucho aware of the castle's presence. Trebuchet on the field. Jordan also getting a Trebuchet out. Let the Trebuchet Wars begin. But I don't think Lucho knows about the elephants yet. And so it could just come down to the surprise factor. Now, it is camels on the other side. So that is kind of effectively the counter to the battle elephants. But the camels are kind of late right now. If the elephants start rolling forward, I think honestly send them forward now. Even with just second armor upgrade. I guess you want to justify being Imperial, right? So like fighting with Castle Age elephants when you're Imperial Age feels weird. That's true. He got pikes. Rotha's and elephants attack faster, so gonna make his elephants even better. And interesting, he went for the Imperial Age attack upgrade before the Imperial Age armor upgrade. Regardless, he's gonna have all the upgrades. So the only thing it looks like he won't have, of course, is Belit. Yeah, we're gonna call them Belit Belephants. Elite battle elephants. Belits. Gotta be careful here too, because his trebuchets are actually precariously placed. Yeah, with these bombard cannons. These elephants got to get involved at some point. I think we're giving Lucho too much time. Heavy Camel Rider is in. Now we're matching the upgrades on the Heavy Camel Riders. Imperial Camel is not on the way though, and Elite Battle Elephant is on the way. So maybe, I don't know. It's one or the other, right? Which is, I know, great casting, James, but it's one or the other. Either he's being way too patient or he's being just patient enough. Stable about to go down. He might be being too respectful, though. He does still have 3 trebuchets. Normally, too, you'd expect him to, like, delete these walls and just run through, but of course, you don't want to create an opening for 14 light cav to come running into your economy. Trying desperately to... to repair the monastery to keep the one relic alive. I don't think it'll matter too much in the end. 15 seconds to go, 10 seconds to go. The battle elephants are going to start rolling forward. The choke point is there. The gate goes down. Elite battle elephants clashing with the heavy camel riders. Imperial camel is just around the corner, and as it comes in, who wins this battle? Is it the battle elephants being the power unit that they are, or is it the Imperial Age camels being the counter that they are? The walls are up behind. There will be no raiding, at least not just yet. Jordan's going to keep flooding his elephants forward. The elephant mass is looking good. Maybe the patience is what he needed. But, of course, the resources are solid on the other side. So more camels come forward. The trebuchet's got to go down. As soon as the trebuchets go down, Jordan can take a breath. Right? His base is no longer being threatened as soon as he gets that down. And he does. But are the camel numbers there? Are the camel numbers there? Look at the overall health. There's 4,000 health worth of battle elephants out here fighting right now to the 1,700 of the camels. They might be a counter unit, but at the end of the day, they still need to be in decent numbers. They still need to find the engagements that they prefer. Now, all of this just for Jordan to get outside of his own base. So Lucho shouldn't feel that bad about his position. 162 pop to 170 pop overall. Jordan now going to use the elephants to roll forward. He's switching into pikemen. I love to see that tech chain, or that tech switch for him. He does know that he can't sustain this forever. Battle elephants are so expensive to spam, and you won't be trading that efficiently into the camels. Camel numbers starting to match that of the elephant numbers, but the barracks have come up. Halberdier on the way. Squires, armor upgrade as well. Now, Bengalis don't have the best spearmen and pikemen. They are missing that final armor upgrade, but if you mix them in with the battle elephants, it might be enough. Jordan just needs siege to support, right? We had the trebuchets to take out the castles, but we don't have any more siege to take out the remaining structures. And that might give Lucho just enough time for his own tech switch. Still leaning into the camels for now. Up to 50 is he in the overall count. One gets converted. But where are the hand cannoneers? Where are the skirmishers? He's going to need something to respond to the likes of the halberdier, which are just now coming out onto the field. And Jordan needs siege. Both players are hurting for a part of their composition that they don't have. Ranged units for Lucho, siege units for Jordan. Another engagement here between camels and elephants. This is going to go badly for the elephants in the end. I mean, again, a lot of camels might die, but now we're getting a full surround on the elephants. We need more halberdiers to come out. Now, the halberdiers could switch things around if they don't get targeted down. Lucho, though, looking good with just the single unit composition. The mass was good enough. And now the resources being threatened here from Jordan. Jordan about to lose about 15 villagers, 20 plus villagers even around this stone. It's so congested in here too. You can't get the units out to actually take the fight. Villagers on the run. The gate's going to open. And this could mean a lot of raiding about to take place. Does Lucho get in? Lucho's in with the camels. And Lucho's like looking to take this series. It's just not, Jordan doesn't have the answer. Down to 104 villagers. He's down to 11 military. And the GG is called. Good luck is given. Jordan falls to Lucho in 3-2 fashion in Hamsters versus Clowns. Well played, Lucho. Could argue that Jordan was just a little bit too patient here with the buildup when it was just 20 elephants, non-elite. If he had just gone then before the camel numbers were up, he would have killed the trebuchets and started the push sooner. I think he was a little bit too respectful. He wanted the full power of the elephants, which I totally understand, but he gave too much time for Lucho to recognize what was happening and to build into the counter unit. And then, unfortunately, all 3 trebuchets went down in the process of taking the castle, so he just didn't have anything left to push with. And that allowed Lucho to get the remass of camels and push forward. And, I mean, good on Lucho as well to just get the numbers up. 52 camels in the end for the Hindustan. He's never even needed to go for the hand cannoneers. It was a weird way of getting there, but he did it. Congrats to Lucho. Big dub over a player like Jordan. Of course, always fun to see Jordan, though, involved in more tournaments and to be back in the Age of Empires scene. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're finding this series on YouTube and you've stuck around all the way to the end, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, that comment button, and that sub button. And for those of you here on Twitch, if you haven't yet followed the channel, we'll be doing plenty more casting in the coming days, weeks, months, and years for Age of Empires.